Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most extreme expressions of racism in the 20th century, the South African apartheid. So what is exactly apartheid? It was a system of institutionalized racial segregation enforced by the South African government between 1948 and the early 1990s. It denied basic human rights to the black population, including civil, political, economic, and social rights. What these laws promoted was a huge inequality in the aim of achieving development. But in the end, these laws pretended to preserve the power of a white minority in the country, which was around 21% of the population. So first, I want to point out what happened on the Sharpeville massacre. So here, the black population had a pacific protest against the apartheid regime, but the police started to shoot at them, and a lot of people were murdered that day. Then, in the practice, we have things like the ones on the right side, where the black and white people were separated in different groups, and even in the parks, the things stayed the same. Huge inequality among the population. I want to point out six basic human rights that I think were violated in this regime. First, the equality and non-discrimination right, which is violated by the Population Registration Act and the Group Areas Act. Then, the freedom of movement and residence, which was violated by the past laws and the Group Areas Act. Then, the political participation, which was not violated at all, but it was partially, with different regulations, including the Bantu Authorities Act, where the black people didn't have any political chance besides their local communities. Then there is the fair labor and working conditions, which was violated, at least in some part, by the Industrial Conciliation Act, which had a racial definition of employee. To sum up, the working conditions were different for the white and the black people, and even the salaries were higher for the white people. Then there is the right to education. It was violated by the Bantu Education Act. Finally, there is the right to life and personal integrity, which wasn't as violated by a law itself, but by different expressions, such as the Sharpeville massacre, as well as torture and arbitrary arrest and detentions. But apartheid was not only racist, but also deeply patriarchal. Black women suffered a double oppression due to their race and gender condition. They experienced high rates of rape, domestic violence, employment discrimination, and a lack of access to adequate medical treatment and education. So, which were the consequences of apartheid? First, on the bad side, there's even today a huge inequality among the white and black people, where we see that the white people earn a lot compared to the black population due to all of these apartheid policies. But on the positive side, we got the ascent of Nelson Mandela as an important leader and promoter of the anti-apartheid, and eventually a new constitution in 1996 that prioritized human rights and equality among the races. So in summary, apartheid was a regime of systemic racial and gender-based violence that denied the basic human rights. Understanding its legacy is key to achieve a vision of equality for modern movements. Thank you.